So boys, I have been wanting to put this build together for quite some time. It's been kind of a challenge though to track down somebody that actually has this shotgun with the specific perk that we're looking for. Not only that, this is not even its final form. After playing with this build, I realized that it can get much nastier. So right off the bat, guys, we are taking the exotic helmet Insurmountable Skullfort, which is present on the Titan class. We are pairing it with the new Gambit shotgun from Gambit Prime, Last Man Standing. And on that shotgun, we're going to be utilizing the perk Swashbuckler, which is a new perk found here in Season of the Drifter. So ladies and gents, I present to you the SWASH-CHARGE. Huh? It was either going to be SWASH-CHARGE or Shoulder Buckler, which Shoulder Buckler sounds pretty freaking cool. Not gonna lie. There is a slight bit of regret for not going with that name, but we chose SWASH-CHARGE. So right off the bat, guys, let's jump into these perks, and I do want to mention that this is very much a PvE loadout, just as much as it is a PvP loadout. Matter of fact, you could even say it's better utilized in PvE. But let's jump into these perks. By the way, shout out to Senor for letting us get on his account. He is the only one I've been able to find that has Swashbuckler present on his Last Man Standing alongside a decent magazine perk. His Last Man Standing though has accurate rounds, opening shot, which is really good as it adds that improved accuracy and that extra like half a meter range. And the final trait there, Swashbuckler, states that this weapon gains increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. Now the way it works is very similar to Rampage, but not as potent. I would say it's just slightly less damage than Rampage, but it lasts longer. It lasts actually 4.5 seconds, which is the equivalent of a Rampage stack plus the Rampage spec mod. So Swashbuckler lasts that long, but just has slightly less damage. Now in this case, with each kill, say with something like Last Man Standing, you add a stack of Swashbuckler, which gives you extra damage for your shotgun. But if you land a melee kill, you immediately come out with 5 stacks of Swashbuckler, which ultimately throws the pellet damage here from 21 to 22 per pellet normally to now 29 per pellet. This is nearly a 40% increase in damage per pellet inside of Crucible. And increasing that pellet damage is simply going to increase the one-hit kill potential range that you can get. Now, I didn't have any friends on today. It's like they're playing another game or something. I guess they're playing Division. I don't know. But I couldn't get anyone pulled together to actually test the one-hit kill range for this. But just know it's potent. Now, the only bad thing about this shotgun, this specific roll, is that the masterwork is not for range. And the barrel perk here, neither one of them are good. Small bore, not really good. Smooth bore, also not a barrel perk you should be using in PvP. I would highly suggest rifle barrel, full choke, if you're going to go for the Crucible loadout with a ranged masterwork. Now, how do we get a melee off on enemies without dying? Well, if you're a Titan, you're in luck. Because lo and behold, we've got this special ability called Shoulder Charge. And when paired with the right exotic, we can continuously keep shoulder charging enemies. In this case, Insurmountable Skullfort, which grants us Transfusion Matrix, kills with arc melee ability trigger health regeneration, and restore melee energy. So you see a group of enemies there in front of you, you charge directly into them, you land a shoulder charge off on that enemy, which of course starts immediate health regeneration, so if you happen to get a tad bit weak before you get to your enemies, no worries. Now you have a Swashbuckler shotgun ×5, which you then just proceed to kill everyone else. Sounds pretty nasty. No lie guys, this was very nasty. I very much enjoyed this loadout, but there's some cons, and not specifically with this loadout. Instead, the cons lie with Last Man Standing. Don't get me wrong, I like the shotgun. I enjoy it, but the handling on this thing is slow. In terms of like aggressive frame shotguns, I would say in PvP, my favorite aggressive frame shotgun is probably Mindbender's Ambition. And then right under Mindbender's Ambition, in terms of aggressive frames, I would probably pick Toil and Trouble. Last Man Standing, the issue that it has is that it's just so slow in terms of aiming down sights. And yeah, you could spec out for things like handling, but you're gonna lose out in range. So the loadout here is really good, but maybe it's better utilized elsewhere, which takes us to PvE. So in PvE, getting a melee kill off is nowhere near as difficult. So you don't necessarily have to run shoulder charge. Matter of fact, one of my favorite loadouts here in Gambit is running Middle Tree Striker. You've got things like Inertia Override to get the reload when you slide over ammo, and you've got that overhead smash to constantly be bumping up your super. And all of of these things will be proccing ×5 Swashbuckler for those times when you do kill some trash ads with your melee. You can turn around and gun down a major very quickly with Last Man Standing here. Now, the percentage increase in damage is actually 65% here in PvE, where it was like somewhere around 38 to 40% in PvP. When we take a look at the damage numbers against Greg, without Swashbuckler activated, we're hitting 4,632 per precision hit, whereas with Swashbuckler, that actually increases to 7,643 per precision hit. So it goes from 352 per pellet to 580 per pellet, which is a huge bump in damage. Now, I know you can't really take advantage of this often. This is not something that you're going to utilize in terms of doing massive amounts of DPS to a boss or something. It's just really good for clearing super beefy ads. And I know we're talking about Titans here, but this could be utilized on a lot of different things. Middle Tree Sunbreaker, simply throwing your hammer, proccing that, can give you ×5 Swashbuckler. Throwing your knife on your Hunter class, I haven't actually tested that, but I'm pretty sure that would also activate ×5 Swashbuckler. So there's a lot of things here that you could utilize to constantly be proccing this perk, which to me, I like more than Rampage simply because it can be easily activated and it lasts longer without ever taking up a mod slot, which allows us here to like throw on things like Major Spec for that extra added damage. So in terms of God rolls, guys, let's just go over real quick what I would be looking for on Last Man Standing. If you want to use this weapon in PvP, and you can, I'm just here to tell you that there is better PvP shotguns, but if you're looking to take advantage of Swashbuckler, this is the roll that I would be looking for PvP. Full choke, Aztecross rounds, Swashbuckler, of course, and probably Threat Detector. And the reason why I say Threat Detector, you're going to be in proximity of your enemies a bunch anyways. I'm telling you guys, the handling on this shotgun is killer. So having some more handling there when you're up close in front of your enemies is going to be super beneficial. If it had Slide Shot as an available perk on this shotgun, I would definitely roll that with Swashbuckler, but unfortunately it does not. Now for PvE, if you wanted to go the Swashbuckler way, this is the build that I would go for, or the roll. Swashbuckler, Grave Robber, which is such a lethal combination. Melee kills reload a portion of the weapon's magazine. This is something that would work beautifully as you run out of shots of your shotgun. You simply just run over there and melee an enemy. This is just going to simply re-proc Swashbuckler all over again for you, but at the same time reload your weapon. And of course, any of these magazine perks is really good as well. So guys, that is the SWASH-CHARGE build. Shout out to my YouTube comment sections for recommending this build. Much love to you guys. You always have the best ideas when it comes to these different builds that synergize well with each other. Very much appreciate all of you. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.